Okay, we have been discussing about the classes in a group. Okay, above classes are a complete set of conjugate elements are called a class in a group. Okay, that is we are finding out all the possible conjugate pairs, conjugate elements, and that complete set of conjugate elements are called a class in a point group, in a group. Okay, and what are conjugate elements? What do you mean by conjugate elements? Please answer. What
elements belongs to similarity transformation.
Elements which are related as similarity transformation, or that is, if we say if A is the similarity transform of B, or B, or we can say B is the similarity transform of A. That means if A is multiplied right by an element X in the group and left multiplied by its inverse, that means X inverse AX is equal to B, then we say that B is the similarity transform of A. Then A and B are called conjugate elements. Okay. And what are the properties of conjugate elements? One, an element is conjugate with itself. If that means A is conjugate with itself, that means if you multiplied A with right multiplied with E and left multiplied with E inverse, we get A itself. So A is the conjugate of itself. Second one, if A is conjugate with B, then B is conjugate with A. That means when we have proved it like this, that is when A is right multiplied by X and left multiplied by X inverse, then we get B. Then if you multiply B rightly with the X inverse and left with X inverse of inverse, that is X. Inverse of X inverse, that is X, then we get A. We can prove it like this. That means X inverse. If you multiply here with X inverse and here with X, we get it is equal to A. That means when A is conjugate with B, then B is conjugate with A. That is the second property. And third property, if A is conjugate with B and C, then B and C will conjugate with each other. These are the rules about conjugate elements. And a complete set of these conjugate elements are called a class. And for the determination of classes, it is a very laborious task. We have to find out all the similarity transforms of each element. For example, consider this group. This is a group of order 6. We are naming it as G63. So first we have to find E. We know that E will always form a separate class, because when E is multiplied any element with right with any element and left with its inverse, we always get E itself, because E is commute with A. Also this we can write A inverse A into E, that is equal to E into E is equal to E. So similarity transform of E will always be E. So therefore E always form a separate class. Okay, so that is over. And second is we take A. So A right multiplied with E and left multiplied with E inverse, we get A itself. Second, A is right multiplied with A and left multiplied with A inverse. Then we get what is A into A. You can look at the group multiplication table. A into A is equal to E. So E into A inverse. What is A inverse? A into A is equal to E. Therefore, A inverse is equal to A itself. So A into E is equal to E. And next, A left multiplied with another element B, we can find out the similarity transform with respect to B. So B inverse. And what is the B inverse? B inverse. How can you find out B inverse? Look at what is B into B. B into B is equal to E. Therefore, B inverse is equal to B. So this we can write B A, B, and that is equal to B into what is AB? AB is equal to D. So B into D, that is equal to what is B into D? BD. BD is equal to C. Okay, and next look at A into C inverse. And what is C inverse? C inverse is equal to what is C into C is equal to E. Therefore, C inverse is equal to C itself into AC is equal to what is AC? AC is equal to F. Then what is CF? CF is equal to C into F is equal to B. Okay, next A, D inverse. And D inverse is equal to D into D is equal to F. So inverse of D is equal to F because DF is equal to E. DF is equal to E. Therefore, inverse of D is equal to F. So F into AD is equal to what is AD? AD is equal to B. And AD is equal to B. And FB is equal to C. Okay, and finally, A left multiplied with F and right multiplied with F inverse. And what is F inverse? F inverse is equal to F into D is equal to E. F into D is equal to E. Therefore, F inverse is equal to D. DAF, what is AF? A into F is equal to C. So D into C. What is DC? DC is equal to B. So we can say here A, C, B are conjugate with each other. Therefore, first class is E and second class is A, B, C. So ABC is over. And then we don't want to look about the similarity transformers of B and C because all of them are conjugate with each other. No need that. You can check out for this similarity transformers of B and C. You can see that it will include A and C. So ABC will form a separate class. Next, look at D and F. Take D, left multiplied with E, right multiplied with E inverse, that is E, we get D. Next, D, A inverse, that is equal to what is A inverse? A inverse is equal to A itself. So ADA, and what is DA? DA is equal to, from the multiplication table, we can say DA is equal to C. So it is AC, and AC is equal to F. Okay, so no need of searching for others because D and F already we got, they are conjugate with each other. Already ABC is a separate class, A is a separate class, and the remaining elements are D and F. It is always we got here, from here itself. No need of the searching for other transformation. So next class is DF. And this is a, sorry. So this step is a very laborious process. If the point group is a complex point group containing a very large number of elements, it is very difficult to find out all the similarity transformation and classes. So there is a simple method to find out the conjugate elements. Okay, we are looking for that. Simple methods to identify the classes present in a point group. Listen, I have already told you that E, sigma H, and I are commute with each other. Okay, in the last class we have studied that commute, if an element commute with all other elements, that element always form a separate class. Okay, so E sigma H and I is commute with all other symmetry elements, so they form a separate class. That's the first thing we have to remember. E, sigma H and I always form a separate class because they commute with all other symmetry elements. Okay, when an element commute with all other elements, their similarity transformation will always that element itself. If we take, for example, if B is commute with A, if B commute with A, then A inverse BA, we can write A inverse A into B, because BA is equal to AB if they are commutes. Then A inverse A is equal to E into B, that is equal to B. So if an element commute with all other elements, its similarity transformation with any symmetry element will get that element itself. Therefore, if an element commute with all other elements, that will form a separate class. Therefore, E, sigma H, and I commute with all other symmetry elements, they form a separate class. Okay, that is why abelian group number of classes is equal to number of elements itself, because in abelian group all the elements are commute with each other, so each element form a separate class. So the number of classes in an abelian group is equal to order of the group or the number of elements in the group. Okay, and second rule is the principal axis Cn and its inverse Cn inverse belong to same class if a sigma v is present or a perpendicular C2 is present. Okay, that is the Cn and Cn inverse. For example, if C3 and inverse of C3, that is C3 means C31, but C3 3 minus 1 C3 2. The inverse of C3 C3 2. They belongs to same class if there is a sigma v or a perpendicular C2 axis. Remember this point. If the Cn axis and its inverse will belong to same class if there is a sigma v or a perpendicular C2 axis. Perpendicular C2 axis is present. That is second rule. And third rule, similarly in the case of Cn, Sn also, Sn and its inverse, Sn inverse also belongs to same class if there is a sigma v or perpendicular C2 axis. Similar in the case of Cn axis, Sn also belongs to same separate class. Sn and Sn inverse belongs to a separate class if there is a sigma v or perpendicular C2 axis. And the fourth rule is other Cm axes and Cm dash axes. Cm and other Cm and Cm dash axes will be there. That belongs to same class if all the atoms or groups present in Cm can be moved to the corresponding Cm dash by some other symmetry elements present in the group. Okay, for example, if we consider XCF4. Okay, and here there is a C2 axis passing through this fluorine, xenon and this fluorine. Okay, and another C2 axis is present here. This is also C2 axis. Okay, and this C2, I am denoting it as C2-1 and it is C2-2. Okay, so by another symmetry operation, for example, by a sigma v plane here passing through this these two fluorine atom, a plane sigma v plane. Okay, by that sigma v plane, the elements in this C2 dash, okay, transferred to C2 double dash point. This F will come here, this F will come here, this go here, okay, like that. That means all the atoms correspond, all the atoms present in Cm is moved into the position Cm dash or C2 double dash. Therefore, this C2 and this C2 double dash belongs to same class. And that is the fourth rule, that is Cm and Cm dash. Okay, other Cm and Cm dash belongs to same class if all the atoms in Cm can move to the positions of Cm dash by some other symmetry element present in the group. That is the fourth rule. And fifth rule, similarly in the case of Cm and Cm dash, sigma v and sigma v dash also belongs to same class if groups present in sigma v can be moved into the position of sigma v dash by some other symmetry element. For example, again we take this example XCF4. Do you know what is the point group of XCF4? Can you say please, what is the point group of XCF4? It is a square planar molecule, isn't it? Then what is its point group? Please tell me.
D4H, sir.
Yes, it is D4H because it is a planar molecule. Therefore, it contains a C4 axis and a perpendicular sigma h, and also 4C2 perpendicular to C4. C4 is the principal axis, and there is a 4C2 perpendicular C4. Therefore, it belongs to D category. And here there is a sigma h. This is a sigma h plane. So it belongs to D4H point group. Okay. So here there are 4 sigma planes. 2 sigma v and 2 sigma d planes are here. Okay, and this is a sigma 1 sigma v. I'm writing only the line but consider this is a plane. Consider this line as a plane. This is sigma v, and this another sigma v dash. Okay, plane. This is a plane, but I am drawing only a line. You consider this is a plane. Okay, and this can belongs to same class because there is a C4 axis here. And by rotation about 90 degree, that might by the C4 axis, C4 rotation, this sigma v shifted to sigma v dash and sigma v dash shifted to sigma v. That is all the atoms in sigma v plane moved to the sigma v dash plane. Therefore, sigma v and sigma v dash belongs to the same class. Okay, and that is the fifth rule. That is sigma v and sigma v dash will belong to same class if the atoms or groups present in sigma v can be moved to the corresponding positions of sigma v dash by some other symmetry element present in the group. Here there is a sigma v and sigma v dash. Okay, actually by looking at this sigma v and sigma v dash, we can easily say they are same group because they are similar sigma planes, all passing through this xenon and 2-fluorine. This sigma v and this sigma v dash also passing through the xenon and 2-fluorine atom. Therefore, they are similar sigma planes, and that similar sigma v planes always belongs to same class. Okay, or we can say by C4 rotation, the atoms in the sigma v plane move towards the sigma v dash plane. Therefore, they belongs to the same class. That is the fifth rule. Okay, and similarly, sigma d also. Sigma d. In the case of sigma d planes, the atoms present in sigma d can be moved to sigma d dash plane by another symmetry operation. They also belongs to the same class. Or in another way we can remember like this. In abelian point group, each element is a class by itself. And we are summarizing what we have studied. That is, in abelian point group, each element is a class by itself. Remember that point. Second point, same element never be in more than one class. Of course, an element present in a one class never be in another class, because that is against the properties of the conjugate elements. Okay, that we already studied. So same element never be in more than one class. Okay, and E is always a class by itself. Already we have studied this point. E is always a class by itself. And for the one, the inversion center I and sigma h will always belong to separate class because they commute with each other. I and sigma h commute with all other elements, so they are belongs to separate classes. E is in a separate class, will be in a separate class, sigma h also will be in a separate class itself. Okay, all CNM elements within a group constitute one class. If there is an addition, if there is a sigma v or C2, perpendicular C2. then all sigma C and M plane axes belong same class. And equivalent C2s are in one class. Okay, and equivalent sigma V's constitute one class, and equivalent sigma D's constitute one class. Okay, equivalent C2s in a separate class, equivalent sigma V's in a class, equivalent sigma D's in a separate class. So we can easily find out by looking the sigma planes if they are equivalent or not. So that's very easy. Okay, then S and M axes also belongs to a separate class. These are the rules you have to remember to find out the conjugate elements or the number of or the classes in a point group. Okay, we can take an example. Consider D4H point group. Okay, the elements in D4H point group are E, C41, C42. C42 is C2 actually. I'm denoting as C2 dash and C43. If there is C4 axis, then the necessary or the elements that can be derived from C4 axis are the C42, C43. C42 is actually C2. And there is another four perpendicular C2 axes. Sigma H plane is there for sigma V, I, S41 and S43. These are the axes present in elements present in D4H point group. Okay, and consider this C2 axis. This is the one C2 axis, and this is another C2 axis. Okay, by looking at this, we can say that these C2 axes are two equivalent C2 axes. So this C2, 2C2, I'm denoting it as 2C2M double dash, denote like this. And that is belongs to a separate class because they are equivalent. They are all passing through one platinum and two chlorine atom. So this C2 and this C2 belongs to same class. Another C2 that is passing through in between this two chlorine atom and passing through this platinum, that is this C2 and this C2. That is also belongs to same class. Or in another way, we can say that by this is a C4 axis passing perpendicular to this plane, and by C4 rotation, this C2M dash moved into C2M triple dash. Okay, so this C2M dash and this C2M triple dash belongs to same class. And this C2 and this C2 cannot change their position because they pass through only platinum. So they belong to separate class. And consider sigma V planes. And this is a sigma V plane, and this is another sigma V plane. Okay, that by simply looking, we can say they are equivalent because all passing through one platinum and 2 Cl. Here one platinum and 2 Cl, here one platinum and 2 Cl. So these two sigma V planes belongs to same class. Another two sigma V planes, this one and sigma, this one. Actually, these are sigma D. We can call it as sigma D planes, dihedral planes. These two sigma D planes belongs to separate class. And C4 and C43 and the other C4 2, that is C2. This 2, 4, 3, this 3 belongs to separate class. And sigma H, as we already said, is separate class, and I in a separate class. Therefore, number of classes in D4H is equal to E is a separate class, C4, C43, C42 belongs separate class. These are separate class. Sigma H another class, I another class, 2 sigma V another class, 2 sigma D's. Okay, and Sn axes S4 1 and S4 3 belongs to separate class. Therefore, number of classes here is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 7. Okay, this is the simplest method to find out the number of classes or the conjugate elements in a point group. Do you understand? Can you follow me? മനസ്സിലായിട്ടുണ്ടോ? മനസ്സിലായിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Okay. Okay, and this point already we have studied. That is, order of classes must be an integral factor of the order of the group. Okay, order of all classes must be an integral factor of order of the group, as in the case of subgroup. In the case of subgroup also, we have studied that order of the subgroup is an integral factor of the order of the group. Similarly, the order of the classes, for example, in the case of C3V, the order of the group is equal to 6. Here class is equal to E is a separate class, C32 separate class, sigma V dash, a separate class. So its order is 1, its order is 2, its order is 3. And this 1, 2, and 3 are an integral factor of 6. Okay, this is always true. That is, the order of the classes will always an integral factor of the order of the group. Okay. Yes, this is a question, and this question is there in the exercise part of the Cotton textbook. Prove that in any abelian group, each element is a class by itself. This I have already taught you. Please tell me the answer. Prove that in any abelian group, each element is in a class by itself. This question is there in the exercise part of the chemical applications of group theory by F.A. Cotton. Please give me the answer.
Order തന്നെയായിരിക്കും abelian point groupലെ number of classes.
Okay, that is point is prove that in any abelian group, each element is a class by itself. You have to prove that. Okay, you can simply say like this. That is, in an abelian group, all the elements commute with each other. All elements commute. That is the first point. Okay, if an element commute with all other elements, that will form a separate class. So, in an abelian group, all the elements will be in a separate class. That you can prove by taking an example. Okay, for example, if A and B commute with each other, then if we take similarity transform with A with B, that is A, B inverse A, B, then this we can write B inverse. Since A and B commute with each other, we can write BA. So this is equal to E into A is equal to A. So similarity transform of A with B will be equal to A. Similarly, if all the elements commute with each other, its similarity transform will always result that element itself. So that form a separate class. So in an abelian group, since all the elements are commutative, they form a separate class. That is the answer. And next question. Why can we not have a group in which A square is equal to B square, not equal to E? This is also I have taken from the Cotton textbook. Why can we not have a group in which A square is equal to B square, not equal to E? Can you answer me? Why can we not have a group in which A square is equal to B square, not equal to E? How can you answer it?